calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. Not every childhood fear disappears when we grow up. Some fears only change shape. The monster under the bed becomes the feeling that someone is standing behind us. The dark bedroom becomes an office hallway that is too quiet. The sound inside the closet becomes an unanswered message at midnight. Adults often think children are afraid because they do not understand the world yet. But sometimes, children are afraid because they notice something adults have learned to ignore. Familiar things can become unfamiliar very quickly. Childhood is when the brain learns to classify reality. This is home. This is mother. This is darkness. This is a toy. This is a normal sound. But that system is not stable yet. A coat hanging over a chair can become a person. A door left slightly open can become an eye. A room that feels safe during the day can become an entirely different place when the lights go out. That is why childhood fear lasts so long. It is not only the memory of being scared, it is the memory of the first time the world lost its certainty. Calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. In Coraline, fear does not come from a completely unfamiliar monster. It comes from a copy of family. The other mother is frightening because she is almost right. She says gentle things, cooks better food, creates a brighter world. But that almost right quality is the problem. Children depend on adults to know whether the world is safe. When the image of a parent can be faked, the fear is not only being kidnapped. The fear is, if someone who loves me can be replaced by something identical, how do I know which love is real? Coraline understands a very specific childhood fear. Adults can smile and still be dangerous. A house can be more beautiful and still be a trap. A promise can be sweeter because it wants to keep you forever. And when the film places buttons over the eyes, it turns care into possession. Being seen no longer means being loved. Being seen means being kept. Calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. The Babadook enters another region. The fear children feel when adult grief leaks into the home. The monster is not only something in a book, it is an emotion buried too long, a sadness without a name, an anger a child can feel before understanding it. Children do not always need adults to explain that something is wrong at home. They hear it in the voice. They see it in the eyes. They feel it in the way a door closes harder than usual. What makes the Babadook more painful than an ordinary monster film is that it shows childhood fear does not only come from darkness. It can come from the person you love most, not because that person is evil, but because they are breaking in a way the child cannot understand. And when a child lives too close to unprocessed pain, that pain can become a shape, a hat, a black coat, a knock at the door. Calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. It turns childhood fear into an almost complete principle. The monster has no fixed shape because every child fears something different. Pennywise is frightening, not because he is a clown, but because he knows how to personalize fear. He does not attack everyone with the same image. He looks into each child's private crack and crawls out from there. This is why childhood fears remain so alive. They do not begin as abstract ideas. They attach themselves to specific images: a face, a room, a road, a laugh. When we grow up, we may know Pennywise is not real, but the body still remembers how fear first appeared. Sudden, private, and accurate enough to feel as though the world knew our weakness. Skinamarink nearly removes plot in order to preserve the purest part of childhood fear: a house, darkness, whispering. parents gone, windows and doors no longer behaving as they should. The film is frightening because it recreates the feeling of waking up at night and realizing there is no adult present to confirm reality anymore. Calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. To adults, a house is architecture. To children, the house is the universe. If the parents disappear, if the light does not turn on, if the room no longer obeys familiar rules, the entire universe collapses. Skinamarink touches that fear by refusing to explain. Because children do not have explanations either. They only have the feeling that something is wrong, and no one is coming to say that everything is still okay. Fairy tales have always known this. Before they were softened into bedtime stories, they were full of abandoned children, forests with no way out, stepmothers, talking wolves, houses made of food that were also traps. Fairy tales did not pretend childhood was perfectly safe. They said the opposite. The world is large. Adults cannot always protect you. And sometimes, the most inviting thing is the thing that wants to eat you. Calm, restrained, childhood dread, cinematic. At the deepest level, childhood fear lasts because it is learned before we have enough language to explain it. Adults can say, it was only a tree shadow. It was only the wind. It was only your imagination. But the child's body recorded the experience before reason could intervene. And memories like that do not disappear just because we understand more. They sink beneath the surface, waiting for the right angle of light, the right frequency of sound, the right smell of a room, and then return. Perhaps growing up does not mean we stop being afraid. Perhaps it only means we learn to name fear with more serious words. We no longer say we are afraid of monsters. We say we are anxious. We say we feel out of control. We say we do not feel safe. But beneath those words, sometimes the same child is still staring into the dark corner of the room, waiting to see if it moves. Slow, quiet, haunted. And that is why childhood fear never really leaves. It is the first lesson that the familiar world can betray us, that someone we trust can become strange, that home can stop feeling like home when the lights go out, and that sometimes the most frightening thing is not the darkness, but the moment we realize we need someone to turn the light on, and no one comes.